think the main tool for trading is knowing your companies really well and talking to other investors. So like having a good network of other professional investors and hearing what they're thinking and what they know. Most of being a good investor doesn't revolve around technology. Just being productive is the most important thing, so you don't sit there and waste your time. I like Moderna a lot. You know that, Arthur. I'm not even sure how I should list Carvana. Is it a industrial services? Maybe that's the best column to put it in. Yeah, try to make professional investor friends. Uncle Larry doesn't count. No, don't do zero DTAs in every single company you look at. Okay, let me look at this scammy company, Carvana. The CEO is a felon, or his dad is a felon? I don't know exactly what the story is. I think it was zero DTE is like, you should just gamble. Maybe we should trade some zero DTEs. You guys find that fun? Just trading and losing a bunch of money would be pretty entertaining, but I don't think you'd learn anything. Maybe tomorrow we'll do some zero DTE nonsense. $191 stock. Why is this popping up my credit card? Carvana's that much of a scam? That's so weird. I've never seen that. It's like asking for my credit card number. Okay, wait, so Carvana has no cash? Nice. Okay, so a bunch of debt. So 600 in cash, 6 billion in debt. There's Class B shares. Are these both economic share classes? I think so. Okay, retail vehicle sales. So is this a car vending machine? I don't even know the business model. It's used cars? I thought they had like a crazy system, like some kind of weird, but I'm not sure. It's a 40 billion market cap, so it can't be that bad. Doing numbers in Atlanta. Okay, so they have a 20% margin on used cars. Oh, these guys have no income after EBITDA, or after interest costs. That 1% net margin. Okay, should we buy a car, Carvana, test it out? They got the whole Range Rover, they got the Benz. You know we got Honda Accords in the hood. Oh, is the idea that like the used car market is really tight? Like, this is like $2,000 off the Blue Book? It's hilarious. You give me that 20% loan. Yeah, I'm gonna need a loan. Yeah, I don't have a license, so what? I'm gonna use my mama's. Okay, so let's say I want this. Are they the originator? They can't be the originator alone. They get that from some. Okay, the cash flow is actually not bad. I was expecting a meme. Okay, this is 6-month cash flow. That's less good. But honestly, it's not that crazy. So 455, 40 capex, so that's 415 free cash flow, 53 times earnings. Cash flow grew a little bit year over year, not a lot. Hard to pay 50 times for a no grower, but just last quarter it did grow. I mean, I've seen better shorts, 15% last quarter they grew. It's not that bad. Guys are acting like this is the biggest fraud of all time. Let me see who the auditor is. Okay, so they have debt. So what? Every company does. They could do a secondary and eliminate the debt tomorrow. Just playing devil's advocate. They got 𝗙𝗂𝗡𝗏. Oh man, big underground. There's actually a book about this. It's really crazy. It's not exactly the Phantom Share thing, but if you want a really good book that's just fun to read, this and even some of the chicks in the chat that don't trade stocks, not you, Moxie, but some of the other girls. This guy wrote this crazy book. It's called Octopus by Guy Lawson, spelled Guy, like G-U-Y, like French. Guy. This is one of the craziest books I've ever read. So I highly recommend this book. It's a quick read, but the guy involved, let's just say he's similar to the Bed Bath & Beyond / AMC Phantom Share people. Yeah, learning Python, learning the Torch library is very painful. I really recommend the Manning book. It makes it a lot easier. Some offshore markets are very big, and some people think like there are these different gamma squeezes and other, like the options can control the stock. I mean, for sure, it can happen, but generally I wouldn't worry about it too much. I mean, if somebody wants that smoke, like delta hedge-wise, they can get it, and someone's going to put them up, and they're still risking capital. They're just, when you risk capital, you move markets. So, depends really on how you look at it. True. Stocks and equity, options and their underlier have like this very symmetrical property. Like they are fungible, basically, in a lot of ways. So if you go buy tons of options, call options in a stock, it's going to go up for the obvious reasons. You know, your seller is going to have to hedge, etc. But like, if you go buy a ton of equity in the stock, it'll go up too. It's weird. Like once you start revenue for a company, like you can't like stop growing. Like you don't want to ever. Stopping is very dangerous. Luigi, it's very similar to Bloomberg. So I think one of the things that I always felt about Bloomberg is that it's less about what data is there and much more about how efficiently can you bring it up. So if you're a professional like me, you have to sit there and do all this work over and over and over again. Yeah, so if the markets are, you know, it's earnings season, all these companies are reporting, just check the tape and you can get the earnings releases literally as soon as they come out, which for trading can matter quite a bit. Yeah, Pearson has these weird, which I think is a good short. It's a pretty good pairs trade too. Pearson has these assessments are their biggest business. Okay, Nike actually breaks out how much is sneakers versus their other products. Performance numbers here. Start with this new one, Lantheon, or Lantheus. Biohaven's, I think, really interesting. They have a real Alzheimer's drug. Lumen signed that deal with Meta, but it's back down. Oh man, poor Lumen. ASPI is a nice short, I think, at this point. I might have to upgrade it to short. I just said avoid, but that was 50% ago. Now, it's like some weird promotional stock that like message boards that have like glommed onto. Abby dropping a little. Dutch Bros doing okay. Ulta 363, 55. Root could be a good long. Elf. Eventbrite, baby. All these like little consumer software companies, Eventbrite, Chegg, like they're all gonna have their resurrection. All right, Legend peaking up again. Intuit. Moderna. Make sure you buy some Moderna. I don't know when it's going to go up, but I like it. COVID comes back, you're going to be covered. Umora, crazy situation there. Innovis, this is a good one. This is a good short, I think. Would be a fraud. GPCR. Neurocrine. Rare. Not that rare. This rare. Perry. Slow and steady. Serence. Oh, what a dog. Corvus. Corvus is my best pick so far, up 40% almost. Huma, the big bad short. This SLS, I was led to believe the results were going to come out. It's taking forever. I'm proud of my clear side avoid recommendation. Ooh, Charles Rivers dropping a bit. And then we got Hood. In my hood. Hims also did pretty well. SoFi did really well. Shout out to the Godel users for putting me on SoFi. And I endorsed that one. How about Jazz? And Baba. Freshworks, and Zoom. Zoom has been a killer. Team I like too. Team just keeps going up. Dawn. And of course, check. Iowa, kind of dead money. TAR is nonstop action, almost $40. And then that's it. It started out at 1 when I'd never heard of the company. This was last month, 2 months ago. And then you could see it grew to 2, and there should be another one in here. Yeah, it's much higher now. But I talked about 𝗬𝗎 like every day. I guess I can reiterate it today. I'll just say 𝗬𝗎 short, just to be clear that it's a 10. What's the price right now? 537. And I put this on my GitHub, so I can't like secretly change it in the middle of the night. All right, let's keep going with Nike. 50 bill in revs. Good old Beaverton. Oh, it's only 117 billion cap. I got something wrong here. Oh, that's market values. I need shares outstanding, dog. The final spec would look something like this. I don't know if you want to take a look at it, but this website does it really well. You could just do FA, and then it all kind of comes out like this. That would be the spec. You can check out this company that made it, 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗏 You can even download it to Excel. All right, so yeah, 1,530 million or 1.5 billion shares outstanding, 124 billion cap. Oh, level 3 ADR. Okay, so basically, a level 3 ADR is, basically a unsponsored ADR, and every single company has one. They don't really trade. You want to do the main listing, right? So if I type evolution in here, the main listing is this, which is EVO. SFB, which stands for like Swedish Financial Bourse or something, right? And if I just click stocks, you know, there's other evolutions, but I just leave evolution AB. This is a pink sheet ADR. It trades on the pink sheet. So what's important is you have to ask yourself, what exchange does this trade on? And in this case, you have 5 different, exchanges that Evolution trades on, but only one of them is the main market, which is EVO in Sweden. It's a Swedish company. Could there be liquidity in some of these other ones? Not likely, but it's possible. So this ADR was made up by somebody that is not Evolution AB. Otherwise, it would trade on NASDAQ or NYSE. If they wanted to make an ADR, they could, but they did not. So Nestle, Roche, those are 2 examples of some very big companies that only trade in their local markets. Let me give you an example. If I wanted to look up Roche ADR, it's 𝗟𝗡𝗍𝗄𝗏. Do you see that? 𝗟𝗡𝗍𝗄𝗏, and it's $39. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. It's going to be really interesting. We're going to do, what is the dollar value traded? Another one is Nintendo. Nintendo ADR, $13. But how much volume does it trade? I'd like to look at it on Yahoo Finance. There we go. So 1322, what's the volume? 26,000 shares, okay? Nintendo has nothing to do with this ADR. Now, it's not illegal or fraud, but somebody else set this up. So here's the price, 1322. How many shares traded? 26,389. Now, you might say that's enough for me, and that's fine. There's a lot of issues trading on the US pink sheets, by the way. A lot of people aren't allowed to do it professionally. The exchanges are very murky and not great. So the real Nintendo trades in Tokyo, of course, And let's multiply the volume by the price. This is the dollars traded amount, right? So this is the amount of actual dollars that traded for Nintendo today. And I could look at yesterday's volume or whatever, but it's $350,000. Got it? So now let's look at the real ticker, which is 7974 in Tokyo Stock Exchange, the real deal. And the price is 8,000 yen, 8010. And the volume last night was 2.3 million. So let's look at the yen exchange rate. So just going to keep this in dollars. It's 151. So multiply this times this divided by 151, and you can see that $124 million of Nintendo traded in Tokyo. But only $300,000 traded on that shitbird pink sheet. It's probably even worse for Evolution. Let's look at Evolution. Here's their weird pink sheet thing, 𝗍𝗑𝗍𝗑𝗧𝗧𝗍𝗑𝗍. I bet you there was almost no trading, 5,000 shares. So that's 𝗍𝗑𝗍𝗍𝗍, US pink sheets, 8966, volume 5889, amount traded, $500,000. Again, you might say, look, I don't take that big positions. That's fine. Only buying and selling $1,000, you know, who cares? Not all of us are like that, though. And we might want to see Evolution AB in the main market. Here's the Swedish market. And so this is 946. This is Evo. And this is Stockholm stock market. Got that right? And look at how much traded, 406,000. 106,846. And we know the Swedish krone is what, SKE to USD? SEK. That's 1054. So this times this divided by 1054. And again, we see 36 million traded versus just 500,000 for the pink sheet ADR. Yeah, you get exposed to FX if you buy a Swedish stock because you have to pay in Swedish krona. So hopefully you'll understand that all of the liquidity is in these local things. Now, why would somebody set up these sort of fake securities? Well, on the pink sheets, the market makers actually cross all the stock. So it's not as electronic as post your bid, post your ask, and shares change and clear immediately. There's actual old school market makers in the pink sheets. And they actually make a bunch of profit on the spread. So it's a bit of a exchange. And so they just make that just to make a little extra money. And it's not a really, viable place to trade for a professional. So I would get used to trading with the big boys and girls on the real exchanges. They will rip you off for 5% if they can. Real ADRs are liquid, like TM for Toyota, but some companies just never do an ADR. I don't have a real opinion on GenMab. I haven't looked at it too closely in a while. DARZALEX is going to go generic at some point. Amgen will put out their own antibody, CD38. So they're going to have to figure out a way to extend the CD38 franchise. All right, so Nike, 122 billion cap. Let's look at the income statement. 50 billion in revenue. It's been growing. I don't know what people are complaining about. Somebody said turnaround. What turnaround? 9%, 10% revenue growth, 5% revenue growth. It's a big mature company, so any revenue growth is, I don't mind it. I get it. Any revenue growth. Demand creation expense. That's a funny way to call sales and marketing. Demand creation. Come on, brother. Just call it sales and marketing like the rest of us do. Demand creation. Okay. Nothing stopping us from doing both. So Nike's been consistently earning 5 to 6 billion in free cash flow. So it's still pretty expensive. And for not growing, I don't know. I see it's dropped quite a lot based on this 10K. All right, so North America is not even half of Nike sales anymore. This girl is so beautiful, it's distracting. It's actually very annoying. I don't like that. I don't want to be weak to the forces of a woman, you know what I mean? Biological creature covered in paint. Okay, we're almost there in interactive. Got a little bit more capital here. It's $106,000. I did this account just for you guys, just to show off some trading while we do. Once I get portfolio margin, I'm gonna do some degenerate trading for you guys. See if we can double this account. And if we lose it, we lose it, right? The YouTube fees will pay back in 10 years, 23 years, approximately 46 years. I think it's like, if anyone can look it up, I think it's like 125K maybe. So I'm gonna keep putting money in, but it's like 100 something K to get portfolio margin on interactive. I don't even know.